Hey everyone, I had a couple of requests for these little crude, very crude charms that I made from cardboard. Some of them I make from cardboard like this, which is what I'm going to do today. But also know you can make these, and maybe I'll do those in a different video with the digitals. We'll stick with just the cardboard and the, making our numbers from scratch today. And to be honest, I don't remember the colors I used in this, so we're just going to play. I have pulled out these three colors, and you can tell by the packaging I've had them a while, but I really believe these came from Walmart, and they were really cheap. This one is called Antique Gold or Antique, Real Brown Marin, and Burnt Umber. That's the three I'm going to start with. But I also want to I'm going to do it about half and half. That part I'm going to make look like the charm I just showed you. Also, I have some black. I don't know that I'll use the black because I really think what I done on the other ones was after they were dry, I took black ink and inked around them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had black around each one. It would have been, wherever I cut it wouldn't have been black. So I think I did it that way. But we'll color and see how it comes out. And then of course I always have my old standbys that I get from the Dollar Tree. This one is called Deep Brown. Really looks more like a rust, and turquoise. And I'm going to make some pieces that look like rusted metal too. So I think what I'm going to start with, and I have my bucket here of just sponges and these little things, they seem to work the best. I might use some of that for the ones that I want to make look like rust. When I use my blue, it seems like it dots it on there a little better. So I have a couple of those here. I think I'm going to start with the brown brown marin. I know I'm not saying that right, but oh well. And I just have this mat here. I'm not mixing it with anything, and I'm not going to gesso it first either. I'm just going to put down some colors, and I also don't clean my brush. I just keep dipping because I like, whatever color it gives me. That looks like the same. Whatever color it gives me is what I'm going to get, and I'm okay with that. So I've got, this is the antique gold. And like I said, I'm just going to start dipping and smashing it on here. You can use a paintbrush. I just kind of like the texture that these things give it. And this is just a normal piece of cardboard I got off of, like an Amazon box or whatever. I didn't peel the layers or nothing. I just started painting. That one, nah, that color isn't any different. It's the exact same thing. Maybe a little bit darker. And no bigger than this piece is. And it's about, let me see. It's about 5 inches deep. And I'm going to guess over 14 inches long. And I bet it will make, depending on the size that you cut your charms, it will probably make about 40. And this is so easy, and I really love how they turned out. I didn't at first. At first I thought, ugh, that was a total waste of time. But I really liked them when I went back and started looking at them. The only thing is, anything that's painted or whatever, it has to be done in steps. And so it's not a quick thing. So I think I am going to add a little black with this because that's a little bit, I mean, I could always do it at the end, but I think I'm going to add a little bit of black right now because I don't have any darker browns, and I kind of want a darker color coming out of there. I like the black, adding the black. That looks better to me. And I'm just mixing them all together. I'm not trying to keep them separated up here. Actually, on some of the pieces, I'm mixing it on purpose. So, and if you put too much, like if you think that's too much black, you can always go back over it. That's the beauty of acrylic paints. You can just layer them and make them look however you want. And when they dry, I love the layering. That's why I definitely would suggest more than one color. Don't worry about blending them in. You want it to be a mix of colors, I think. I think that makes it look more like dirty metal, or I don't know. Dirty is probably aged metal. Not like I'm going for metal with this, but it kind of gave me that look when it was done. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this around because I don't want to stick my arm in it. I'll leave my colors there because I may still add some of those. And I'm going to put some of that rust right on there, just to mix it around. Get it good and covered with something. And I don't care that I'm blending in with those because it's just going to all look good whenever it's done. I'm just trying to make sure my cardboard is covered with a color. It doesn't really matter. They're just going to look really cool when they're done. It just looks like a mess right now, but it will look good. Now I'm going to add a little bit of the turquoise for the rust look. I think I might put some of the turquoise down here too. Nothing is going to be wrong. You cannot mess this up. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And when it's completely dry, I will come back and we'll do the next step. Okay, so I made out like this was going to take about, the rest of my life to dry, this whole process. It's been about 20 minutes and it's completely dry. And I'm not going to, film me doing the other side of this. I just wanted to tell you and show you that, it's really rough. We're going to cover all that. And I also found another color in case you're interested. This one's called Glam Gold. And I don't know if I showed it on the first part or not, but this is a color I remember using. It kind of gives it a neat color too. So I'm just going to, and I'm going to maybe put some of the, yeah, I think I used this more than I used the antique gold on the first one, the first time I did it. And I'm not going to go all over it. I just kind of wanted to show you what it looked like. It's pretty, and I'm just going to let it dry. I am going to go ahead and flip it and continue my painting. But I wanted to show you that and to let you know that even if your cardboard isn't perfect, we're going to use it anyway. Another thing I wanted to tell you on the other side, how I dabbed every color the whole process. And anyone that paints and does things already probably knows this, but to make it go faster, lay down a base paint, a base color. It doesn't matter. Like on this side I did rust, this side I did brown. And I did that in like less than a minute. Laid it all down with just this. I just rubbed it. So now I'm going to go back with my other colors and do the dabbing, and it won't take near as long. And I just wanted to share that with you in case somebody wasn't, in case there's actually someone else in this world like me that thought, I'm going to dab this whole freaking thing. All right. Whole stinking thing. All right. I'll be back when it dries. Okay, next step. So I tried to use a punch, and I didn't think that I was able to do that last time, and I was right. I can't. My punches won't go through, even though this isn't very thick. It won't go through it. I probably could run it through the die cut machine, but I don't want to do that. I really don't want it to be that difficult. So I'm just going to cut some shapes. And it doesn't matter. They don't have to be perfect. Of course, you know mine aren't going to be. I like the square look. I'll probably do a lot like that. But you just cut shapes. You know, if you want to. And then you can always, I'm going to cut a little skinny one like a rectangle. I'm going to cut, I don't think I did any circles last time. And I probably won't this time. But I'll do some long tag looking things. Something like that. I'll probably do some squares. And it's easier to do this first so that you know how much room you have to create whatever you're going to put inside. And like I said, I'm going to make some long skinny ones. I like the little rectangle looking tags, so I'll probably make a couple of those. Couple, I say, probably more than a couple. So, and I'm not coordinated enough to do the circles. So I'm going to steer away from those. But this isn't even the whole board, and I've cut, what, 3... 22 if you count the circle, and I still have this much left. So I think you could get 40 out of it easy. So what I did next on the ones that some of them I stamped with a number. And I had some really cool distressed numbers that I was wanting to stamp on these. And of course, you know, I can't find them. And it is about to drive me crazy because I've been looking for them for a while, not just for this project, but for other things. So I have one of these, and I'm pretty sure I got it at the Dollar Tree. And it's just a little, it has, I don't even know what it's really called. I think it's something to do with a cricket. The one time I've seen it, and that has little round balls on both ends, was at the beautician, and she did little dots on my fingernails. You can tell that I don't beautician. Beautician did my nails. What are those people called? Who knows? Doesn't matter. Anyway, she had one of these and did little dots. Obviously, I don't go to a nail tech. That's what it is anymore. But so what I did with this to make the indention into the cardboard, and I do all this first because it's you want it to. I say first because we're going to coat it with glossy accents. I got this a long time ago at a secondhand store for like $2. Didn't even know what it was or what it was used for. And it's turned out to be like one of my most favorite things, especially for charms. But I'm going to move you down just a little bit. So I just took this tool and made numbers in here. You know, like the impression of a number. And I did that so that when I used my marker, you can use a magic marker. You can use a pencil. I'm pretty sure I used a pencil before. Just like I don't know if that's a watercolor pencil or not. But I had some markers like this. And believe it or not, of all the things, I might have a Sharpie. But I didn't have a black marker, so I just did this and filled in where I went. And the reason I used that thing first to make my number, I felt like it gave it a better impression that way. And I mean, you don't have to have a tool like that. You can just use a normal pencil like this one and kind of dig down in there because I don't know, you don't have to. I guess you could just write it on the top, but something in my mind told me it looked better if it was like indented, like maybe a real metal tag would be, like when they do the little tap and it puts the number, it's kind of indented. So I guess that was the look I was going for. So I just put a 2 on this one, obviously. And I'm going to, I think I want to round, well, of course can't, round the corners. I may have to do it with my, oh, that works, with my scissors, because I don't know that anything I have, this is working so far, is really going to go through the cardboard. And it's not even that thick. That's the thing. After you did all the painting and such, you know, it's pretty thin, pretty squished down. So there is my little charm. Nothing perfect about it. I'm sure it's not, you know, if you measured it, I think you'd be really disappointed. But so you can do that. Just write your numbers or do this. Write number. And then make up a number, you know. Make that a 0. And the cardboard's kind of squishy, so it works out really good. And, you know, sometimes on those metal tags, the numbers aren't straight. They're not, you know, they don't look perfect. I know that when I worked at the boat plant, they made the metal tags like for the serial tags, serial number tags. And there was actually, at the time, I don't know about now, somebody that stamped each of those. I mean, they had a little tool and they stamped the numbers. They didn't have a machine that did it. So that's kind of what I've done on that one. Just wrote number and then put a number there. I mean, it doesn't, this is just, like I said, I think this is just, I don't know if it's a watercolor pencil or just a pencil, but that's how I did that one. And I think, I know before I used some number stamps, and I do have some. They're not the ones, of course, I wanted to use, but they will work, I'm pretty sure. And I'm actually going to use the Stays On because it seems like it's darker than my VersaFine. So I'm going to use the Stays On and just stamp a number. And it, when I did that, it kind of went down a little bit. And if you want to, you can go trace over that with this thing to make it, you know, engraved or leave it as it is. I thought I would try a few stamps and see what they look like. They're just crooked as they can be, so I'm sure it ain't going to look that great. Need a bigger piece, wouldn't you know it? And I'm really pushing it down in there trying to make the imprint. And it isn't really imprinting, so I'll probably take, once the ink dries, I'll probably take my pen and mark down in there a little bit. I don't know why. To me, it just looks a little bit better when it's has an impression of the number. Again, I think it's because I'm thinking some of those old metal tags, you could see where it was, you know, tapped down. But anyway, I think you get the gist of how to do this. And now I'll show you the next step. Unlike this one that I done that, I'm just going to go over it with this thing. Not perfect, just enough to make the letters kind of squished down. None of this you have to do. It's just how I did them, and I'm not really sure why. So we've got 4 here. And I was trying to see if I had a Sharpie, because I know that would work as well. I do have a Sharpie that's kind of blue. Maybe that would look rusted. So maybe I'll use that. Maybe it'll give kind of a patina color. So let's do... It's not really wanting to write on that acrylic paint very well. But I think it's good enough. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, it doesn't, I guess, doesn't have to show up perfect because we're trying to make it like they're old anyway. So I think I want to round the corners again. I'm not a big, I don't really like the little pointy edges. I think I had it on my other ones, but for some reason it's bugging me today. I'll leave some of them like that. And then I've rounded a couple, and I'm leaving a couple like they're long. Okay, so we have these. I've left some with the sharp corners, and I've rounded some. You could do oval shapes, any kind of, however you can cut. I'm not good at cutting, so I'm probably just going to stick with the norm. Next, we take the glossy inks, and I just kind of put some on here. I'm not going to today because it won't come out, but let me get a pen. Okay, so I just kind of squirt some on there. I don't do it really probably how you're supposed to. And I put a pretty good layer because I like the way it looks. And I just paint it. I make sure and get the sides. Paint it with that stuff. And it does not take long to dry. And once this side is dry, then I'll go turn it over and put some on the other side. And those are, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't take it long to dry. I really need to clean my little cap thing out because it's not wanting to come out very good. Probably going to explode here in a minute and go everywhere. And I'm thinking on the cardboard, what I did last time was I did 2 layers to make it really shiny. Because, you know, it's cardboard, so it tends to want to absorb anything you put on it. But I'm pretty sure that's how I did it last time. I just put a whole bunch on a bunch of them and then painted them. You know, spread it out. Nothing precise. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I don't do anything very precise. And you can also, if you don't like the way that corrugated looks, once it's dry, just smash it down. You know, take your finger, because it's, I can do it right now. I could have done it before and I forgot. But see, like this one, I've smashed them pretty flat. If you would rather them not, you know, look like corrugated cardboard. Before you start this process here, just smash them down. These are already dry. It only takes about 5 minutes for them to dry. I'm going to go ahead and paint the backs, but I don't think you need to see me do that. But I was going to say, I think these would look really cool with a little metal eyelet in them. I didn't do that on the clusters I made. I just punched a little hole. You don't have a hole punch, anything sharp. And, you know, I just think they turned out really cute. I hope you like them. These are super easy. And as you can tell, you can make them however you want to make them. They're just that simple. Almost embarrassing to tell how I did it, but I love them. I'm going to use them a lot more than I did. And like I said, I've made them before this same way, only I used, you know, these cardboard things that come in the mail. I've cut this one now to do tag edges, but they, you know, of course they're square or rectangle-ish like this. And they make really good ones because they're stiff. And even if there's numbers imprinted on them, that just makes it even better. And how I did these was I Mod Podged. No, I didn't. I used gesso on them first. And I had some black gesso that turned out really neat. Used alcohol inks and different things on the back. If anyone's interested in those kind, I can show you those as well. But here are the rough and crude ones. I think they're perfect. I love how they turned out. I hope that you like them. I know all you can see right now is shiny because I went ahead and painted the backs of them. But I wanted to add, you don't have to have this stuff to do it. You can do it with Mod Podge. You can coat it with Mod Podge. Any kind of sealer. I kind of like the glossy look, but of course you could use matte finish of anything. Not just Mod Podge, but like gesso, clear gesso, anything to just seal it so that it, you know, when they're in this kind of form, they're pretty, you know, we just painted cardboard, just painted paper, so it's, you know, pretty flimsy. Once you put some kind of coating on it, it hardens up enough that it's more like a tag. That's the reason I put that on. And I used this because I really like how it works. I do have Mod Podge, and I've done them with Mod Podge before, and it works just as good. So as soon as these get dry, also at the end of the video, I'm going to do a, you know, just a little shot and show the ones as they're finished, because I am going to put some eye holes in some of them. And yes, Laura, you heard me right. Eye holes. I'm putting some eye holes in them. Also known as eyelets. And as always, thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.